Hey, everybody, this is Ace Frehley, and you're listening to Shout It Out Loudcast. Don't touch that dial.
Oh, boy. Here we go. This is Gene Simmons. Put that cookie down. Kiss. I'm pressing the button. Stockbroker Simmons. Star? Stanley. Is that what he does? Stop shouting. My name is Ace Frehley. He's not what you would call a handsome man. Oh, no. Here come the kiss times. Is that a positive thing? Okay. All right. I'm going to grab me an ice cold mellow yellow. Why do that to the fan? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them. That's what we're talking about. 617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like Kiss? Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom and Zeus with another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast, episode 309. Kiss Alive 2. But not just another episode, another season of Shout It Out Loudcast. Welcome to season 7. We're on our 7th year, Tom. Woo.
Oh, God. Feels it, too. Happy New Year. Kiss Alive 2, Electric Boogaloo. Oh, man, yes. We always try to start off the year with a banger, and we got one.
Yeah, we're trying to get our juices going. It's 7 years. Woo. It's been an ordeal. These holidays and colds and sicknesses and family and all that shit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm run down. It's fucking
exhausting. Everybody I know is sick in some way, shape, or form.
Oh,
that's awful.
I've had to go to the doctors twice during December to get meds because of my bronchitis and my voice. And this is fucking brutal. I am worn out.
Yeah, I hear you.
This is just shit. My kid works. I have to drive her to her job. I pick her up and drop her off every day at school. I've got my practice I try to run. It's hockey season. I'm at the rink 6 out of 7 days.
Yeah.
And I try to run this Kiss podcast with you.
And then we're recording 2, 3, sometimes whatever times a week. But I got my Kiss Alive 2 t-shirt on, but nobody can see it because we don't do video because we're not going to bore you with that. But
Tom, Zeus. I'm not happy that I drove my kid to school today back after a couple of weeks. And I didn't see Chunks.
Oh.
She wasn't on there.
Oh, no. Maybe she heard the episode.
I don't know. She wasn't out there.
Maybe she heard the episode.
I did leave a little early, so we'll see.
I thought you were going to say you left a little snack for her.
Oh. But as I was driving my kid to school, to work, actually, I picked her up from school, drove her to the mall. She works at, I'm not going to say, fucking Kiss Tard's going to show up. Hey, is your dad got any double platinum
hey, I got an
Argentinian versions?
Hey, I got an idea for your dad. How about this for an episode? Who are you, creepo?
But as I was driving, I was sitting in traffic, and I saw this car in front of me, and I'm like, take a picture. I'm driving. Take a picture. And I just texted you what was on the bumper sticker of that car. Take a look.
Team Chunk. Why is that on there?
What does that mean?
Why is that on there?
Is that I just took that photo today?
Maybe that's Chunk. Well, it looks like our buddy Hall of Famer Jeff Trott may have to make some new T-shirts and have Team Chunk.
Chunky, chunky, chunk, chunky, chunky, chunk.
Oh.
Anyway, all right, Tom. We're going to get to Alive 2, which is going to be a big endeavor.
Yep.
But last time we did a year in review. Fun time reminiscing about everything that went on and Shout It Out Loudcast in 2024. We got some feedback.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep. We always start off with the Twitter poll. So we asked you guys, which was your favorite episode of 2024? Bruce Kulick talking about the end of the road tour. Ace and Steve Brown interview.
Hey, guys. Let's talk about the tour.
Fuck them.
The Lick It Up album review or the Destroyer album review? Bruce Kulick gets 40% of the vote. Ace Frehley gets 31% of the vote. So how about that, Zeus? Bruce Kulick, a repeat guest, gets 10% more votes than first-timer Ace Frehley. Well, let's break this down and analyze this. What does that mean?
Okay.
What does that mean?
First of all, if you've seen some of the latest posts that have been on our Loudcasters Facebook group.
What? Space diapers?
This is a Ace Frehley hate group, apparently.
True.
And so if you are anti-Ace, apparently you only listen to us, I guess. But, or is it more or less like people just like Bruce and want to hear something new? And when Bruce speaks, it's usually pretty genuine. Yeah. And he's got all his faculties with him. And it's not the same old cliche stupid shit that Ace says over and over again.
Plus, well, let me finish the poll here real quick. So 16% said Lick It Up and then 13% said Destroy Review. The thing with Bruce, too, is, and this is not like, it's nothing that he said specifically, but just topical. It was a little bit more salacious, meaning like he was talking about his feelings on the end of the road. It was a little bit more dramatic. The Ace interview was it was great. It was Ace, but it was just more fun shit. 10,000 volts Kiss. Bruce had like some like opinions, and people like opinions. And Ace, I don't know.
And we were early. Like, look, Bruce also made it, at least to us, he made it appear as though he was coming. He wanted to share it with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Little did we know later on he was just going to go on the Bruce circuit and just tell everybody the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But we were early on.
Yep.
In that people first started hearing what his thoughts were on the end of the road on our show. And I think he did like Ultimate Classic Rock was an interview he did early. Like we were one of the first ones he went on. So I think people were really interested in hearing what he had to say.
Well, and here's a perfect comment here from Derek Rolando. I love it when angry Bruce is more popular than getting Ace.
Yeah.
There you go. The Greek Thunder from Down Under, our buddy Thanos Akratides says, Bruce Kulick lets the unholy beast from within arise. That's a very dramatic way of saying angry Bruce comes out to play. But yeah, we love that. All right, let's wrap up Twitter and turn it over to you, Zeus, on Shout It Out Loud Casters and the rest of Facebook.
Over on our Facebook page, the great Jason Warden. Great year, gents. I enjoyed the review. At my age, I need a few recaps. Always nice to have Ace drop by. Looking forward to 2025. Let's fucking go.
Nice. I like it.
Stop. Don't talk anymore.
What? Why is Ace being mean to us? What the hell do we do?
I don't know. The great Tony Barone. Love the recap episodes. It really shows how much was accomplished during the year. And you can always go to abcpainc.com for all your tax needs. He is the fucking man.
Yeah, and I'm also going to correct that. It's Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Famer, Tony.
Ooh, that's right. That's right.
Okay, all right.
Dan, I'm not one of the mutants from Stonehill. Who? Dude, he was a fucking disgusting looking human being.
He just looked like a piece of food that you left in the refrigerator too long, and it just started growing shit on it.
He looked like the guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Midway, he is melting.
Mid-melt.
Yes. And he wasn't like really fat or anything. He was just fucking.
He looked like a character, like he was like a blobby type of thing.
If he comes out and he's like, guys, I was just hiding it. It really is me. This is pretty mean then.
It'll be fine.
He writes on it, the holiday bogged me down listening wise. Got all caught up last week. Binged from 301 to now in the week. Holy shit.
Nice.
A lot of loudcasting. And good for you, brother. And we really appreciate that. Now let's go to Loudcasters, the Facebook group, where all sorts of shit was put on this week. That, I mean, you guys are just amazing. And the stuff that you guys put on here keeps me entertained. Tons of fun stuff here.
Yep.
Oh, And I just want to get onto a separate post. I didn't even get into the episode post. But the great Bunny Lebowski from the great Lebowski wrote, I just want to say a huge thank you to TNZ for helping me stay sane and out of a psych ward in 2024. With every KISS podcast basically being a weekly instructional video on how to worship two old dudes who don't give a fuck about you. At least TNZ provided some critical commentary while also being big fans. It's only on Shout It Out Loudcast that the KISS branded knee pads are put away. And you can listen to two adults rather than some 50-year-olds fawning like fucking 9-year-olds at their first Backstreet Boys concert. Thanks for the weekly antidepressant love and respect.
The best part of that post was some of the comments. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, because our Brandville had to jump in. Wow, so much respect in that post. LOL. Yeah, we get that kind of respect, Michael. No offense, brother.
Yep.
I think you were a little bit too defensive in that. And I think you felt the need that he was maybe talking about your show. But I don't know.
Perhaps.
Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't.
Perhaps.
I don't know. But I personally, and I know Tom does as well, appreciate Lebowski's post. And
Absolutely.
there are way too many. And they're there for people. If you want that kind of podcast, they're there for you. You can find them. Believe me.
We've said that since day one.
Yep. And that's who Paul Pulse is listening to. So good luck with everything.
Yep. Love it.
All right. Let's get to some of the comments on the post. Kendall Lacey, even angry Bruce can't be angry about such a great year-end reflection. Wishing you all the flapjacks in 25. Oh, man. Craig Stevens, thank you guys for another great year. I can tell how much you enjoy doing the show together, even when you're having a heap of rants. That being said, you always spend a great deal of time each week doing the show. I assume that both of you have jobs, outside interests, and I, for one, appreciate greatly companionship that this show gives me. Please don't diversify the show too much moving forward. There is at least another 5 years of material solely on KISS, even if they never do another thing. We all be listening. Happy New Year to you both. Thanks. Greg, when we're talking about diversifying, we're not diversifying the Shout It Out Loudcast flagship show. Okay. No. What we're talking about is maybe the other shows, just doing a little bit more of that stuff that it give us a little bit more variety. There's only so much of KISS Tardum I can take.
Up next, best 8th song on a studio album. I mean, those are fun.
No, we're up to 7.
Yeah, whatever. Those are fun. Don't get me wrong, but
no, it's just a matter of like we don't want this show to become stale, and we want to have fun doing this stuff. Right. You know. Right. So, all right, Daniel Holler Houston, who when he joins our Patreon Zoom calls, needs to fix his name so that we know who the fuck he is.
Dan Houston.
Yeah, exactly. Hard to believe I'm going on 4 years listening. Thanks, TNZ, for great 2024. You guys have knowingly accompanied me on runs to Southern Oregon, Austin, Texas, and Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Can't wait for the new year and the first big episode. Ace and Vinny Storage better get ready to call Tony Barone. They might have a little tax problem. Taxes. What the hell are taxes?
Yeah, exactly. Taxes. Jeez.
Somebody made a point about they put a post up of Ace playing recently again.
Oh, dude.
It was brutal.
Wow. Like, that was bad.
Deuce, and this was on the December 27th. It was awful. The guitar sounded like shit. Literally, it's like some kid out of the crowd. Hey, play this. And he's not in tune. He's just, okay.
It was horrendous. And that's not Ace hate. And I'm going to tell you right now, kind of like what we said during Festivus. If you can watch that clip of Ace and be like, oh, man, I love Ace. Like, that's so great to see him rock out. You are why I had you on my Festivus list.
Yeah, and let's be honest, okay? We're saying this still with the preface of saying, yeah, we know he's like 70 years old. Yeah, we know he's had some problems.
Stop doing it if you're going to sound like that.
Like, what are we doing here, people?
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to pay big bucks to see a kindergarten farting a flute. Well, kid's only in kindergarten. What do I expect?
I would do that.
Come on,
I would go to that show.
Farting in a flute?
Yeah, why not?
But regardless, okay, we were talking about that. And someone's like, why is he out there doing that? I'm like, because he fucking has no retirement, nothing. If he doesn't work, he doesn't have money. So
That's
when
right.
he's out there to work, and they're like, he's got, and I said, and this is my own opinion, he's got tax problems. And with the fact that he has tax problems, the IRS is not going to settle with somebody if they know they can recover money.
Correct.
If he was smart, he would come up with a settlement or a lump sum and get some money and do something, pay them off and be done. But he tries to hide it. Hey, pay me in cash, and string this thing along. So the interest just keeps accruing, and he's just going to play till he drops dead. He's never going to settle that fucking balance, and he's just going to leave it. And because he thinks he hid the house in his kid's name, they ain't going to come get it, which he's right, okay? But they're going to be up his ass until the day he drops dead. That's what fucking life you want to live? Going to fucking club promoters and shit places and look like you're playing basements and be like, pay me in cash. And I'll give me only half of this. And do meet and greets where you lie about how much you made.
They're
going to send a fucking IRS agent to one of those meet and greets to buy one of those things and see if he reports it. And when he doesn't, he's going to get fucked. It's just fucking stupidity that you're out there doing it. How does fucking Peter have more money and can live comfortably and you can't? Don't tell me that, he's doing it because of rock and roll. No, he's doing it because he fucking has nothing better to do and he fucking needs the money.
And
it's stupid.
And people are showing up. That's why.
Well,
that's why.
Yeah, of course they are. And also he's got handlers and all the other stupid shit. Yeah, it sounded great.
Right. And when he looks out and sees 300 people buying tickets, he's like, "Oh, this is wonderful." If he did a show and saw 17 people out there, he'd be like, "Okay, maybe I need to friggin' regroup." But it's just the same thing with a sports team that sucks. You keep buying tickets and buying the jerseys.
The owner ain't spending the money. Exactly.
The owner ain't going to make any moves because you're buying the ticket.
Yep. Anyway, off that soapbox. I can't believe I'm saying this. Hall of Famer Joey Romanek.
Why can't you believe it? Because of his pants?
Who thinks he's fucking Shecky Green all of a sudden with funny comments?
I actually thought it was kind of funny.
Fucking Ray Romano commenting on other people.
Ray Romano is not funny.
No.
Joey Romanek is better at humor, which is not saying
I'd rather
much.
listen to Ray Romano than fucking Joey Romanek humor. Sorry. Bicep curls.
I don't know about that. And we can him out. Just say the word. We'll get rid of all the Joeys. We'll get rid of all the Joeys in the Hall
and
of Fame.
fake drummers too.
Oh, that means we get rid of heavy mayo.
Yeah, that's a positive thing, Tom.
But we need at least we need a couple of pussies in the Hall of Fame. Can't just
people that like pussy music.
Exactly.
Anyway, Joey Romanek says, "What a year! Congratulations, another year. Continue to leave the rest of the Kiss podcast in the dust with killer content, engaging conversation, great topics, amazing guests, and an awesome community." All right, I take a quarter of that insult back. The book was the icing on the cake this year, and I've been wondering how you would top that next year. Then I realized that your co-author, Joey Casada,
I know Joey Casada
has probably pitched a reality show to Netflix. Yeah, he can do that on his own, buddy. Is there an audience for a show about two middle-aged men who run a podcast about a band full of 70-year-old men who wear wake up, who listeners seem to be a bunch of fecally obsessed miscreants with a penchant of quoting 80s teen comedies and harboring collections of 90s porn? Yeah. Our guess we'll find out. On to 2025.
Nice.
That is a pretty good, accurate description of Loudcasters.
He nailed it pretty much.
Yeah. Frank Anselm, great recap. Can't believe how quick the year went by. Cheers and Happy New Year's to TNZ and all you Loudcasters and Kiss Tards out there.
Nice.
Let's skip on over to YouTube. Oh, we got a comment here from the great David LaGreca.
Yeah.
On YouTube. Thank you guys for an awesome 2024. Can't wait to hear what you're going to do in 2025. Well, one of the things we'll do is we'll have you back, David, and can't wait. And maybe we'll get you on for DD for a WrestleMania preview.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Listen to hear what you got to say. I mean, David and his group over there, Busted Open, are just fucking killing it. Killing it.
Yep.
Every show, every fucking brand out there wants to talk to them and be featured on their show, and they're killing it. And they've been kind to us over time and talking about us and our great book, Tom. But anyway, over to you.
Let's take a look at, we got a couple emails here, and then we want to get into Kiss Alive too, because this is going to be a big one. Our buddy Trent Bally, T&Z, congrats on probably the biggest year in SIOL history. What a fun ride it was for all of us Loudcasters. I personally traveled a lot this year and always enjoyed listening to you guys at the airport and during flights. It was fun to recall where I was flying to or from when listening to certain interviews, album reviews, etc. from the air. Time really flies when you're having fun. Additionally, I saw Ace live for the first time over the weekend. He is hilarious up there. He nailed some solos, butchered others, but was extremely entertaining and funny nonetheless. Money well spent. And I'm proud to now say that I've seen 3 of the original members perform live. Not bad for a kid born in 1999. Jesus. Got to take what I can get while these guys are still alive and mostly well. Cheers to 2025. Thanks again for all the entertainment from the hottest podcast in the land, Trent. Well, if it was money well spent, then we're not going to argue because it was your money. Scott Greer, what a great year between the reviews, interviews, Ace and Bruce, and a book. It's going to be hard to top 2024. I'll always look forward to the new episodes every week. Thank you for all that you do, and cheers to you two on a kick-ass year and more to come. Well, thank you, Scott, for the kind words that you send us every week. And Zeus, let's throw it back to you to wrap up feedback this week.
And we're going to back to Loudcast, our Facebook page, and we're going to read this comment. The retrospective episodes give me a chance to relive things that I enjoyed most and reflect on how much this podcast has meant to me. So when you hear someone talking about, I'm just saying this right now. So when someone uses the word reflect, 99.9%, that's a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, one of the things I've noticed that every time Bruce Kulick is a guest, the episode inevitably becomes one of my favorites. Bruce represents such an important part of my Kiss fandom. I first got into the band during the Revenge era, and Bruce's contributions during that time are a big part of my personal connection to Kiss. Whenever he's on, it's not just a must listen, it's a must re-listen. But what really struck me while listening to your latest episode is this. I don't think I've ever truly thanked you for rekindling my love for Kiss. I wouldn't be where I am in fandom today without Shout It Out Loudcast. Your podcast has been more than just a fun listen. It's been transformative in that sense. For example, I wouldn't have flown all the way from Germany to New York City for the final shows if it weren't for the sense of community excitement that you've helped create. It's incredible to thank you how much you've inspired me to take those leaps, and for that, I'm endlessly grateful. In addition, I've been a Kiss podcast listener for years, long before your show came on. While I won't name names, I'll just say that it wasn't until Shout It Out Loudcast that I found myself reconnecting with my Kiss collection in such a meaningful way. Your album and tour reviews have made me revisit and rediscover so much music that I thought I already knew. For instance, your thoughts on Lick It Up made me reevaluate parts of the album and appreciate it in a whole new way. Those moments of rediscovery and nostalgia are priceless to me. And again, capitalized, I can't thank you enough for that. So thank you. Not just for how you've treated me as a fan, but for everything you've done to reignite my passion for this band. I hope you continue to find joy in making this podcast, because for me, it's joy it brings. It's a whole new level of Kiss-tard. Tally Faulkner.
I mean, we don't do Hall of Fame comments, but if we did, I mean, that just exceeds comment of the week. I mean, it's just, I mean, Tally, you just are the best, and saying thank you to you and for writing a comment like that just doesn't do it justice, but that's all I can say for right now. You're just the best.
She knows we love her, and you know, maybe if we get all these little fanboys off her ass, the rest of us can enjoy our conversations with her. But she's got a little fandom inside Shout It Out Loudcast.
Yep.
And these little fanboys, they know who they are.
Yep.
But God bless you, Tally. We love you, and we think the world of you. And for everything, you are comment of the week.
Good answer. Good answer. like the way you think. I'm going to be watching you.
Tom, what's amazing and crazy is now we're into 2025 and our Patreon keeps growing.
Love it. Amazing.
We have 2 new Patreon members, both just great for being who they are, but both unique.
Yeah.
So we have Lana Cooper.
A female.
Yes, as a Star Child member.
Yeah.
I don't remember interacting with Lana. Do you?
No, and we've said this before. These are sometimes the favorites that, I mean, again, we love every single Patreon contributor, but when a name pops up out of nowhere, no social media really connection, no email connection, just a name, a supporter comes out and says, I want to support your show. It's amazing. And Lana just, first of all, having a female named Lana. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Three's Company.
Exactly. Yes. Amazing.
Or Lana Turner. So I think we have 2 or 3 female. We have Tracy.
Yep.
We also had Amber Fiber something. I don't know what
Yep.
Amber uses. There's some unique thing. And I think there's a couple more too.
Yep.
And there's a lot of couples that listen too. So
Yep.
we know Hall of Famer Joey Romanek. It's really his wife that is the subscriber. So
yeah, right.
anyways, and number 2, and this is kind of like, what do you say other than the guy rocks? And that is David LaGreca.
Is a Patreon. Imagine that. Talk about full circle. David LaGreca is now a Patreon supporter of Shout It Out Loudcast, as if him being a friend of the show wasn't enough.
And a personal friend. So,
right.
David, we love you. Thank you for supporting us. And same thing with Lana. And thank you to all our Patreon family members. We can't say enough about you guys. We've mentioned it. We had our Patreon phone call, a Zoom call with every tier. We did that on, I think, the 30th. We did that.
Monday night. Yep.
Tons of fun. The conversations just, it was so humbling, all of us talking and people just being, so cool about everything and saying, we just want to support you and we appreciate what you guys do. And this is just fun. And just to say, happy holidays to each other. And it was just a great time. And we wish all you guys could have joined us. Well, we're back to a new year and we will have 4 more this year. And we'll start one probably in the next month or 2. And we hope that those that are available can join. But Patreon, come join the Patreon family. Come support the show. We really appreciate it. And we offer you some perks back. There are 4 different tiers. Each tier get different perks, including merchandise, including input on the show, including polls, including March Madness. We include the mailbag, and we also include the album review crew pick, which we just did your Patreon pick, and that was the Cults Electric. There's so much more involved between the message boards and everything else, and it's become a family. Appreciate all of you, the well over 100 members of our Patreon family. Come join. Anybody that's out there, New Year, come support the show. It helps us a great lot, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for everything. Huge shout out to Lana and, of course, Dave LaGreca. Awesome. And whether you've been there since day one, in the middle, brand new, it doesn't matter. We love you guys, and we're so eternally grateful. And we had a blast on that Zoom chat. So stay tuned. It's a new year, and we'll be having another one sooner than you can imagine. So thank you again for everything you do.
Yep. So, Tom, next we go over to Kiss World.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet, of course. It was a holiday week, so not much going on. Paul posted something with his younger son, Colin, who's 18, a picture of him honoring his dad by getting the same rose tattoo on his shoulder. That was kind of cool, I guess. Other than that, again, holiday week, not much news going on. The official Kiss social media did say, Happy New Year, lots to come in 2025, lots to look forward to, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, in terms of like actual news, not much. I think all eyes turn towards, those anniversary thing, the 50th anniversary, if you can believe it, of Dress to Kill, I believe is sooner than we think. So other than that, not much.
Yeah, I think Gene was in his pajama pictures with his family.
Yep.
Ace
I think that's an older picture.
But he put it back out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you got Ace
Just
performing
Ace.
live.
Yeah.
Come, he had a picture up. Hey, who's seen Ace in 2024? Who's going to see Ace in 2025?
I got tax problems. Please buy a ticket in a colored vinyl variant of 10,000 volts.
I'll give you an extra copy if you pay me in cash. Disaster. All right, Tom. Let's take a quick little break while we gather up the votes to see who's going to be the first Hall of Fame loudcaster kicked out.
All right, and we're back. Ace is still celebrating New Year's. Jeez, the ball dropped. I wasn't sure what you guys were talking about. Me and Vinny are having a problem.
We had to work the graveyard shift. I didn't realize he really meant the graveyard shift. I fucking was surrounded by dead dogs all night long.
Oh, God. Oh.
If you store them in the back of the fence where no nosy neighbor can see and report us. We've still got a few hundred more burials to do.
Oh, God.
All right, Tom. I know you've been probably waiting for this as much as anything since we started this show, and that's Kiss Alive 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yep.
We always start with these things with how did you first get it? When did you get it? Give us your first impressions.
Yeah. So this was actually, if I recall correctly, which who knows, it was that long ago, this was the first CD I bought with my own money. And at the time, this was considered to me like the ultimate greatest hits because I loved Love Gun. And although Double Platinum was out, the only song from Love Gun on Double Platinum was Love Gun. This had, I Stole Your Love and, Shock Me. And it just, obviously all the other songs from Destroy Rock and Roll Over. And then I remember just being intrigued and being like, what are these? What's Rocket Ride? What is, I don't know what that is. And, it was that, remember the double CDs? It was that clunky big plastic thing, the big thick double thing.
He had a big thick neck looking like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody clogged your mom's toilet. Looked like he can shit bricks.
Shit bricks. So, I mean, I've had this for forever, and it's always been my favorite just because it's like a greatest hits, and it's so different from Alive, which we'll talk to about when we get into it, of course. But to me, this is just epic, historic, classic, every word you can think of. And it's just been a part of my collection since day one. I have a million different versions of this.
So for me, I remember the actual vinyl.
Yep.
I remember being at my cousin's house, not my older cousin Mike, but my other cousins. And I remember all of us always having these albums and always just, it was like a toy. You'd open up the album, you'd look at it, and we would be sharing all these Kiss albums. And we'd open up Kiss Alive 2, the legendary gatefold, and just be, oh my God, look at Gene. What the fuck? Oh my God, this guy is so scary looking. And just the imagery and the toys and the games and the cards and Kiss Alive 2. I don't remember listening to the music. I was so young. I don't remember then I turned it over and I saw that Christine 16 was on this from Love Gun. Like, I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yep.
But I remember this album. And when I got back into Kiss, I remembered Alive too. I didn't remember Alive. I was like, Alive? What are these songs? I don't know any of these songs. I knew the songs on Alive too. That's the big thing for me. Like, that was the era we got into them. I'm not one of these older fucking 60-year-olds that remembers Kiss coming out in the first 3 albums. I remember the next 3 albums.
Me too.
And this was my live album, Kiss Alive 2. But I don't remember the music. I just vividly remember this album and cousins and us just staring at it and being
Yep.
like, wow. And that's where that part came in.
Yeah.
Want to get into the cover? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is right. When you're talking about Kiss albums and Kiss pictures and gatefolds and inserts, I mean, it starts and ends with Alive 2. So let's talk about the front cover or even the back cover in those 4 iconic shots and arguably the greatest photo of Gene, which, you know, not to burst anyone's bubble, but is not really authentic. Is kind of done up for it. Kind of all of these were. And as fantastic and mesmerizing as Gene's photo is, for some reason I was always super intrigued by Ace's photo because the way the light hit him,
He's orange.
he was orange. Like it was like he just looked so fucking ridiculously cool. Peter looks coked out of his brains.
Absolutely.
And Paul looks like a legitimate.
He's not even wearing makeup.
Right.
Looks like you can tell who he is in person.
Yep. Paul looks like the Star Child because he's got that big glow. It looks like he's holding something that's glowing.
Gene looks like he's just came out of the Warriors.
Yeah.
A scene from the Warriors.
Just
like
disgusting.
He just fucking was in a gang battle and fucking just went through hell and in a gory like fucking fight against demons and shit.
Yep. And it's funny because I always wondered like why you have these great pictures and the back cover has them all 4 taking up pretty much the entire back page with the exception of the track listing. But the front has the huge Kiss logo written in that color scheme that I love. It has Alive 2 written in like that stencil. And then the 4 tiny photos. I was like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? Mm-hmm. So Dennis Wallach, the art director who did a lot of the covers, he says this, and this is from Behind the Mask. What I remember most about the Alive 2 cover is that we didn't have any new pictures. I was just going through our old files trying to find stuff that we could use. That's why there wasn't one great big picture like on Alive, one big shot. You never got a good band shot with 4 guys looking good. Alive was posed to look live. Anyhow, I was looking around for another live band shot, but I just couldn't find one. It didn't exist. So I just took 4 little shots and put them on the cover with the logo. I don't know. I find that really hard to believe because there's an entire photo shoot, including the gatefold, which we'll get to, that they could have used for the cover. Now, I'm not going to argue because these are 4 of the most iconic pictures of the band ever, probably besides maybe the solo album covers. But yeah, that's the cover itself. What do you got? What do you got? What are your thoughts on that? Just I know we kind of talked about it, but is there a favorite that sticks out for you? Besides, I mean, I know everybody.
I think Peter looks cool. I mean, the Gene thing is just off the charts, legendary.
Yeah, it is.
I don't like the other 2. I don't like Ace looking orange and Paul looking white. Like
the only thing I like about Paul,
you fucked up the colors.
But the only reason why I like the Ace thing is because you could tell it's the lights from the stage kind of glowing off of him, which I think is cool. And then that glow from Paul, it's like he is the Star Child. I get what you're saying, though. I get it. I totally I get that.
Peter just looks like a fucking still that they got from 2 years ago or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It looks bad. It looks bad. Yeah.
And then, I have the remastered version. So you see our friend Robert Conte's comments.
Yep.
And in here, I still have, because of the remastered version, they put in the Kiss tattoos.
So I have the vinyl. I have a couple different versions of it. I have the tattoos, which are fantastic. I have the Evolution of Kiss booklet, which we'll talk about in a minute. We'll get to that because that's a whole separate thing we can talk about. But yeah, I mean, the 2 inserts are 2 of the greatest inserts ever.
Mm-hmm.
But
so go ahead. They're all you.
The gatefold, which even as a grown man just blows your brains out. And of course, the story is, and it's not really a story, but it's a fact, that the photo was shot by Dennis Wallach and it was done at a sound check before they show on August 19th, 1977 in San Diego. And it was every pyrotechnic and every hydraulic feature of their stage set all set off at the exact same time. Which to me is just insane. He says, we decided to take a shot during sound check at the San Diego Sports Arena with all of our effects shut off at once. This is Paul Stanley saying this in his autobiography, Face the Music. Just blast the entire arsenal and have us all up on the hydraulic lifts. That never actually happened at the same time during a show, but it was an authentic documentation of the bombastic feel of the experience. And then Woollett goes on to talk about, being creative with the pictures on the album cover and stuff. I mean, Jesus Christ, what can you say? I mean, even looking at it now, whether it's all done at once, the fact that that's not CGI, the fact that that's not photo effects, that's real, is just it's
the
just
other part that you didn't mention is like
Go ahead.
riser that Pete's drums were at the highest point.
Yeah.
And all the shit going on behind him. And it's just centered Pete right on Peter in the middle.
Yep.
The two guys on the right, Ace and Paul, and then Gene on the left by himself, the demon. It looks like the Wizard of Oz fire that comes out.
Yeah.
In the Wizard of Oz when Oz is speaking. It's just insane.
And I love that Gene is in that pose. He's got the bat wings, he's got one finger on the fret of the bass, the other hand up doing the sign. And then you got Paul doing that point that he always does. Ace kind of looking fucking tilted like he always is. And just the whole stage looks like it's just on fire, which it is. Just fucking bonkers. It's just absolutely bonkers,
Yeah.
And then he inserts. Kiss was famous for inserts. We talked about the tattoos. The tattoos are amazing. You got the heads of the 4 members. You have the Kiss logo, the Kiss Army logo. Then a couple fun little things. You got Paul's rose tattoo. You have the words Ace, Gene Simmons autograph with the money bag, a skull and crossbones, a Saturn planet, Peter's 3, a cat. All the autographs, just really cool shit. And I think that it's, even in the vinyl reissues, the tattoos are real. You can wear them, you can use them. But to me, one of the coolest things ever was the booklet, The Evolution of Kiss, which I think is fucking awesome. Because by 1977, the band had absolutely evolved. And I like it when you open it up. You got the current picture of Gene Simmons. And then you got pictures of the band from 73, 74, 75, and 76. All in little block photos. And then the current pictures of the band. And you keep turning the pages. And then you have a band photo from 77 with band photos evolving from 73 all the way through 76. Ace and Peter. Now, if I recall correctly, I know for a fact this applies to Gene, and I know for a fact it applies to Ace. Those large individual photos with 1977, those were on the fronts of those classic Kiss Halloween costumes. So the costumes had those photos. I can't say for sure. I'm assuming it's probably the same with Paul and Peter, but I don't remember. I just remember Ace and Gene. Those were the pictures on the front of those classic Halloween costumes. And then on the back of the book, you have the evolution of Kiss with bullet points from the first 5 years or 4 years of their career, talking about, the impact and, kind of important events. Just an incredible keepsake if you're a Kiss fan at that time, Zeus.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot to gush over. I think Kiss tards will have to keep it in their pants and relive it themselves.
Yeah.
But let's get into some of the facts.
Yeah.
So Alive 2, obviously their second live album they've ever done, released October 14th, 77. The album actually made it up to number 7 on U.S. billboards, and it's now double platinum. Now remember, all these platinums and double platinum things, God knows when these things were actually done. Right. So who knows how much it's gone past that now. But That's what it was. It was produced by Kiss and the great Eddie Kramer, who comes back again.
Yep.
Kramer had just done the last 3 albums in a row. If you think about it, you're looking at Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, and now Alive 2.
Yep.
If you really want to go there, you skip Destroyer and you go back and he did Alive.
That's right. Yep.
So you're looking at 4 of the last 5 albums Kramer did.
Yeah.
So the thing about this is always, the story goes is that they came up with the live stuff. They're like, we want to make this different. We don't want to have any duplicates, but we don't have enough songs.
Yep.
So that they had the additional side 4 available. So they said, all right, let's just do new tracks. Yeah. Gene, I think, tries to cop and say that it was his idea to do new songs for side 4. It was Gene's idea, supposedly.
Yep.
Now, the other part to this is legend goes that there was a release of this album with incorrect songs that were originally on this. Take Me, Hooligan, and Do You Love Me?
And those exist. I've seen them in some of the vinyl Facebook tard groups that I'm in. There are misprint copies out there.
So think of shit like this, how they can't do that for the new version of this on the 45th or 50th anniversary. They couldn't have done that previously or come up with and put out the live version too with those on there.
Right.
The other aspect of this, 2 of the songs supposedly weren't ever done live. And that's Tomorrow and Tonight and Hard Luck Woman. It was performed live, but it wasn't a live version of the song that went on this. Something like that.
They were sound check performances.
Yeah. And then but also I've heard where when they went into the studio to do the actual new tracks that they did Tomorrow and Tonight there.
Yeah, actually, let me correct myself. Tomorrow and Tonight was used as a sound check. Beth and I Want You were lifted from an unused Japanese live recording and used for this, which we'll talk about that unused live album in a second.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the whole thing about Alive 2 came back to early 1977, before the release of Love Gun. Bill Aucoin wanted Eddie Kramer to record a live album for one of the Budokan shows in Tokyo, Japan back in April. And the plan was to release that live album and give the band some time off. But Kramer worked on the album. Kiss and Casablanca both said it was quote unquote unusable. And the band continued working on the sessions for Love Gun. So then that's why they moved towards releasing Alive 2 later after Love Gun and including the Love Gun tracks. There's a ton of bootlegs out there from those Budokan shows. I have some on vinyl. They don't sound terrible. They just sound a little bit raw. They sound like obviously Eddie Kramer didn't touch them up. But I find that intriguing that they released an album. They're like, we can't use this. So Beth and I Want You were lifted from that unused Japanese live recording and they were repurposed for Alive 2.
Yeah. And so you get different people who will tell you different things. And I know the Kiss Tards are going to come out and correct every single fucking thing that we said, which is fine. But the fact of the matter is, imagine if you had Hooligan, Do You Love Me, and Take Me on here.
Yeah.
They couldn't have done 2 other songs and just forgot the new stuff and put the new stuff on their next album. I
don't understand.
It's a lot of those what ifs.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
So let's go through the actual live album like we normally would in our live album reviews. So they begin with, for a while, the only live version we had of Detroit Rock City. They open with that.
Yep. And it's cool too. And it's cool too because at this time they're the hottest band in the world. Yeah,
and this is supposedly by Eddie Balandas. I don't know what the fuck his name is. He made the introduction.
So they were the hottest band in the land on Alive. They're the hottest band in the world on Alive too.
Yeah. I don't like world. I prefer land. I just think it's more nostalgia and more original. Regardless, great version. We all know this version. It was the only one we had for a while, but there's so many great versions of Detroit Rock City out there now.
Right.
That it's standard to hear Detroit Rock live version of Detroit Rock City.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. I don't know if we specified. If we did, I apologize. But most of this comes from the forum in California. That's the majority of it. There's obviously some stuff that we said that's lifted from Budokan in Tokyo, and then we'll get into the original tracks I made. So this is from August 26th through the 28th. There's shows at the forum during the Love Gun tour. Now, of course, the next track. You can't do Detroit Rock City without going into King of the Nighttime World. So I love that they do that on this.
Yeah, I have the same comment there that it's just the same thing from Destroyer. Great version, and I'm thinking Peter kills it on this.
That's the other thing I love about these songs. I absolutely love Peter's sound, and more specifically because I'm not quite the drum nerd as some of our Hall of Famers are, but Peter's snare drum sounds awesome. He sounds awesome. And I love the live versions of these songs. I mean, I might go so far as to say that these live versions of the song to me are like the definitive versions of all of them. Well, maybe we can get into a debate on that another time, but these versions are just outstanding.
The other thing I'm going to say is, although Paul's words and stage banter is kind of familiar to a lot of us here, it's not as prevalent on Alive.
No. No.
And it's not as legendary as live. So after King of the Nighttime World, we all know this one. Paul, woo, all right. How's everybody feel? We got some good-looking girls. Jericho loves that line. It's in our bumper with him.
Yep.
If some of you girls want to get yourself kissed, meet us in the ladies' room. And then they go into ladies' room, which I would say is still considered almost a little bit of a deep cut.
Yep. And I fucking love this version. I love the slow, sleazy version on Rock and Roll Over, but I love this version. And Peter just like slamming the cowbell right before the chorus. Love this version of Ladies' Room.
Yeah, I think I put the same thing. I love this rare gem.
Yep. Yep.
They go right into Making Love next.
Which is a song I'm normally not a huge fan of, but the band absolutely rips on this. Ace's solo is just fucking out of this world on this. And I think the band sounds so incredibly thick and heavy. I read an article where they described this album as the band sounding muscular, which I think is kind of a good thing. They just sound fuller and thicker and heavier on this live album. And they were at that time. It's a lot different band than the band that did Harder Than Hell and Dressed to Kill.
Yeah, I believe the comments throughout my research on Alive 2 is everyone in the band said there wasn't as much work, basically, for Eddie Kramer because the band's just better. The band members themselves are just better musicians at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Eddie Kramer totally said that. Yeah, he's like, he did not have to do as much work as he had to on the first Alive. There's obviously some tweaking as there is with any live album, but yeah, he said they had grown so much as performers and musicians that there wasn't that much work that needed to be done.
I have the same comments as you. Making Love is not a go-to track for me.
It never is.
This version is fucking fantastic.
Yes.
Paul, you could tell like they're doing this live because there's little ad libs and Paul's enunciation on some of the words.
Yep.
It's just different. And so that's what is so exciting. Like it'll be a different version of this song, not the standard end of the road song types that you got so bored of listening to.
Yep.
And
exactly.
Ace's solo is blistering all this. And then comes Paul's legendary, all right, Love Gun, which is just hilarious when you think of when we always use that teaser line. We're going to get into some deep cuts. You're going to hear songs you never heard before. All right.
But the reason why I love that is when he says it, coming right out of Making Love, it sounds so like energetic and so like it doesn't sound. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's like forced.
The song hasn't been fucking blasted into the ground or shoved down our throats.
Thank you. The song is still fairly new. So when he says, all right, Love Gun, then the band just rips into it. I'm like, fuck yeah, it is Love Gun. I love it.
Right? So I'm with you on it. I think it's a good version. Again, Ace is great. And Paul, all right. I know everybody's hot. Everybody's got what?
Rock and roll pneumonia.
So let's call out Dr. Love. Another line that we all kind of know. And again, it's not as big as fucking vodka and orange juice, but we know this one. And then they go right into calling Dr. Love.
And it's so thick and heavy. Oh, it's just in Gene's voice on this album. Whoa, like just full blown demon on every song. And there's something else too. We didn't really mention it because it really hasn't come into play too much, but there's some other songs. There's certain songs you can really hear the backing vocals on this, which I think is awesome. Whether it's a Gene track with Paul backing vocals or vice versa, you can really hear those other microphones coming to play here, and it just sounds awesome.
And a few earworms. First Cure is a Kiss.
Love it.
He does that.
Yep.
And I just put Peter is fucking cooking on this song.
He's amazing. Peter even says that. I mean, he even says it like how he knows how great he was. And Eddie Kramer said the same thing about it. I mean, he even says right here, real quick from behind the mask, I'd give it 5 stars. I love live albums. It was more live than alive because we were much better as musicians, as entertainers. We had our shit together. We knew what we had to do. We knew our jobs. We were seasoned by them. We knew now that timing was important and that we couldn't get away with a lot of shit. We paid more attention to the music. Yeah, hell yeah, you did.
Absolutely. And I also love that this is kind of the beginning of Gene doing the because I am the doctor of love.
Yep.
And you can see him folding his arms probably and imagining him doing that. Right into Christine 16.
So this was always interesting to me because I missed the piano on this because I love the piano on the studio version. But a live version of Christine 16 to me was just so like, holy shit, this is like amazing. I love it because it is so thick sounding and heavy, but I mean, I don't expect him to pull out the piano in the live version, although they could have, but, I don't know. What do you think about the loss of the piano on this version?
It makes the song like heavier or rocker, more of a rocker.
Oh, yeah.
But it also does lose some of its luster without
I agree. Yep.
And the reason we fell in love with it. I don't know. I like it because it's two different versions of the song. That's what you're getting.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Paul, we got a little surprise for you tonight. We're going to turn the microphone over to Ace Frehley. Shock Me. Another legendary intro banter.
Yep. And then to me, the greatest version of this song, the greatest guitar solo he's ever done. I like this because it's just under 6 minutes total, including the guitar solo. There's a couple other live albums, some of the off the soundboard stuff that he's on, where it just goes on and on and on. They do the song and he burns down the place with the solo, and Paul just screams, Ace Frehley, lead guitar, shock me. Like, it's just fucking incredible. My favorite version of the song by far.
I thought Paul said this.
Ace was now, in Tommy's words, a fucking loser.
Oh, God.
I'm going to make a bold statement afterwards.
Go ahead.
I won't say it now, but Ace does an incredible job on this. Yeah, you're right. It's not a long solo, so I do enjoy this version. Thankfully, the solo's short. I was never a big fan of Shock Me, the song.
Really? Okay. Okay.
We'll get to other parts to this.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Fine. So then Paul ends it with, yeah, Ace Frehley, lead guitar, shock me.
I love it.
Right?
I love it. We
know that very well.
Yep.
And then they go right into Hard Luck Woman, which this is the stuff that you hear and you're like, okay. So it was supposedly recorded at the Capitol Theater in New Jersey between September 13, 1677 or Electric Lady Studios. I don't know. Supposedly it wasn't live. Again, someone's going to correct me later on saying, oh, that was sound check. This, that. I heard they did it in a studio. Whatever. I don't know.
My favorite part of this is as soon as the opening drums in the guitar start, you hear this swell from the crowd. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, the crowd's wicked jacked up for Hard Luck Woman. I love that. But it sounds good. Peter sounds great. I think it's a good version of the song.
Yeah, I mean, Peter is in good form.
Yeah.
The band is in good form. It's a good version of the song. You like the song? You like this version. That's what you're going to do.
Yep.
Then they go into Tomorrow and Tonight, which I wrote, See Above. Yep. Now, the one thing about this I will say, I love it more without the female singers.
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, yeah. Yes, I agree.
This just sounds way more rock. And again, this is one of my favorite tracks off the album. I wish it got more love, but it could be seen as one of those, and then Paul's trying to push this anthem down our throat. But I like the song a lot.
Yeah. Tomorrow and Tonight was done at sound check, and they added in some of the crowd noise. But yeah, it's a great version of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So flip it over again. We forgot to do the other one, but now we're into the second vinyl, side 3.
That's right.
And this is where Tom needs to take a little break. We need to get a towel because the screen is wet.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, live, I Stole Your Love from the Love Gun tour on Alive 2. That's just call your doctor after 4 hours, because that's how long the erection lasts when you're listening to this. Just fucking incredible. The band sounds so nuts. Peter again drumming. And this is one of the ones I was talking about with backing vocals. Obviously, this is a Paul Stanley track, but when they get to the chorus, you can hear Gene you can hear his tone singing backing on the chorus. It's just fucking awesome. Every time I hear the song, I'm like, how is this not just a classic staple of every live show? I don't know.
I really loved it when I first saw Kiss Exposed.
Yes.
And on Kiss Exposed, they show you you visualize it.
You can see it.
And,
yep.
Like its subversion is fantastic. I think it's in Houston in 77.
Yes, I think it is.
That version.
Yep.
And you visualize, and there's a part where you can pick me up and you put me down. And there's a close up of Gene, and he must flick his fucking tongue.
Yep.
200 times a fucking second.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool. It's just so balls out.
Yep.
And it puts that image of Alive 2 right in front of you when you see it from Exposed. And that's what it gave it to me. Just so much fucking energy.
Yeah. It's wild.
And then everything goes. We go to Beth. Wrong placement. Wrong placement. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know where this should be placed because I mean, I'm not a huge.
It should be placed on this album. It should be placed God of Thunder. Then it goes I Want You. Then Beth. Then Shout It Out Loud.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't think Peter sounds. There are certain parts of the song Peter does not sound great.
What? Really?
Yeah, I think there are certain. And again, I know I'm nitpicking because it's a ballad and it's live. I just don't like the song, so I'm kind of a hard judge of this. But it's fine because it's live, so I don't hate it, but it's okay.
It's Peter singing it, so that's why I don't hate it. I like it. I think it's genuine. I think it's from the heart. I think he does a good version of it. I like it. I just think it's a wrong placement after you just come back and flip the album over. You go to I Stole Your Love. You put Beth on afterwards. It just fucking doesn't help.
Yep.
But there's no Kiss. Kiss Loves You and God Bless and all that other shit on this one. I guess Peter does that afterwards or something.
Yeah, I guess.
Because it's not on this album.
It's not on this one. No, you're right.
All right.
Nope.
Then we get into this creepy shit. God of Thunder.
Yeah, I love this version for a couple reasons. That intro is not long. When he does it now, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it sounds like he skipped the blood and shit.
They either skipped it or he just wasn't spending 10 minutes doing it back in 1977. That being said, I've said this many times. I think the studio version of God of Thunder is the worst version of God of Thunder. I think all the live because it's sped up a little bit. It's super ballsy here. I love it. And then we get into a drum solo, which, thank God, is very, very short. Again, I love it. It's not like the 100,000 years thing that takes 10 years off your life. But this version just kills it. I love it.
Yeah, I just have this as a menacing, fast version.
Yep.
And Gene in his most demon voice. You can hear Paul and his soul in the background when he does that.
Oh, yeah.
The drum solo is 2:45 to 4:06.
That's
right?
perfect.
So
a little over a minute and a half.
Yeah, if that. Then Paul ends with Peter Criss on the drums. Even the Gene's spoken word when he comes back after the drum solo is fucking awesome.
Yep, I love it. I love it. Yep.
So then they go right into I Want You, and I just put it's a good version until the fucking I want you nonsense.
I couldn't believe it. Again, this is not a song that I go to on here. I like this live version. The band sounds great, but I was like, fuck it, man. You've been doing this for 50 years. God, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it at all. Now, maybe back in 77.
Stop doing that to me.
Back in 77, it was novel, so it was cool, but whatever.
Ace thought it was cool, but...
No, Ace, that's shit.
Yeah, it is shit, Paul. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
And then Paul comes in and says, if you people want a little bit of rock and roll, I said, if you people want a little bit of rock and roll, shout it out loud. This used to be our intro.
That's right. This
and
used to be our
Shout It Out Loud, which I think is a great version of the song, but we've heard it a million times, so now it's lost all its luster.
Yeah.
Back then, we had one version of this live version.
Yep.
But since the fucking 20 other thousand live versions and the million times they did it in the last 20 years, you're tired of this shit.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Good song, good version. It's just beaten into the ground badly. But this sounds good, and of course it's got some extra nostalgia for us because this used to be our intro song. So yeah,
I like the call all your friends in the neighborhood. Hello.
Yep.
Gene does the Ace part. Yeah, I wonder when Ace starts doing it, where he does the
everybody shout it out.
Yeah, that part. Gene was doing. You can tell it's his voice. Then Paul says, "We love you. Good night." And then he farts into the microphone. No. And then the drowning out of "We Want Kiss" comes in, and he slowly outros. And that's the end of the live version of this album.
Yep. Awesome. Fucking killer.
Yep. But this classic album doesn't stop there. There's side 4, and that is 5 new tracks. The first track is this.
All American Man. Absolutely fucking love this song. Paul hates it. I shouldn't say he hates it. He says it was written very quickly, and at that point I was struggling to come up with songs. I have to say that when I was having trouble writing, sometimes I would have people come around me, keeping me in one place until I came up with something. And then we'll get into, right now, the whole Bob Kulick story, where he played on 3 of the 4 studio songs, including All American Man. He played the solo and rhythm guitars, and Eddie Kramer got an incredible sound from him with the guitar. And it was a period of time where Gene and Paul looked at him like he was their savior whenever they needed somebody to come in and do lead guitar.
Yeah, it's an interesting comment that he has in Behind the Mask when you read Bob Kulick. God bless Bob. I knew that they were enthusiastic about my playing, even though these were the times where I'd play one note and Gene would say, "Stop." I'd say, "Why did you stop the tape for?" "Oh, I didn't like that note," I said, "but you didn't even know where I was going." And he said, "But that's not Ace." Then I'd play a solo, which Ace could never play, even if he got somebody's brain transplant and a new set of fingers. He'd think it sounds like him. You can't play that because Ace would never play that one note. But that's part of being what a musician is. That's not right for you. And how about this? But in the end, I always really liked whatever it was that we'd wind up, even if it wasn't where I initially came up with the parts left out or modified the parts missed down. Now, that's Bob talking.
Yep.
Eddie Kramer says, for the studio songs, we had to use other guitar players. The record had to go forward. If Ace isn't available for whatever reason, it was important that we went ahead. The guy we used, Bob Kulick, was a good guitar player, but he wasn't Ace. So it depends on whose side you want to take on this.
And what's Ace's comment after that? I don't even remember what those songs were. I think I was out in the ozone somewhere.
And even Bill Coyne writes, Ace was in the ozone. Ace was kind of off partying. Like, all right. This is legendary now. This whole Ace is out and how did I sound and the best you've ever sounded, whatever that was. God bless Bob.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not with Ace on this part.
Yeah.
Fucking show up, you asshole. How many albums? It's like memorized. It's like a scene in a movie. I'm playing the actor playing that part. Oh, yeah, but for this scene, because you're not around, I'm going to put this actor in for that part. I mean, the fuck you are. That's my role. Like, I don't understand him. Does he have pride?
He didn't care. Even Peter Criss said that really bothered me. Something happened to Ace's hand. I think he got an accident. Something went wrong and he couldn't play. I wasn't as enthused with it. I may have just walked in and did my thing and left. And this was the beginning of it. I mean, Gene even says as early as Destroyer, and even earlier than that, they started talking about alcohol and they call them chemicals. Paul Stanley says it was due to him ingesting certain liquids. But let's go back a little bit here real quick, and let's just say Gene said, we all said we needed to make a Live 2 different from a Live 1. And I got the idea of putting new studio songs on side 4 from a ZZ Top live album where half of it was live and the other half was new material. Okay, and then Corky Stasiak, the engineer producer, says we recorded the basic tracks and the studio cuts at the Capitol Theater in Passaic. And that's when we talked about it. Eddie Kramer was like, yeah, we need some other people to help out with these because Ace is just not around. But anyways, back to All American Man. I fucking absolutely love it. Simple Paul song, cock rock to the extreme. I love it.
All American Man, written by Paul Stanley and Sean Delaney. Sean talks about the fact that he was sent over there to help them write songs. And they were all bitching. And that's why he went over. And they were over in, I think, Japan.
Yep.
And Sean talks about it a little later, and we'll get to that when he talks about Rocket Rye, that he was there to help these guys. The rhythm guitar, I'm like, did Gene steal this for Any Way You Slice It? Doesn't it sound like it?
Kinda. Yeah.
Got the tail of a hurricane. And I've never been the same.
Yep.
Anyways, Paul, as you mentioned, Paul said he wrote the song with Sean, that he doesn't have any real connection with the song. He doesn't. Dude, why do you have to shit on a song that a lot of people really love?
He does it all the fucking time, and it makes me crazy.
Yeah, he has no connection.
I can't stand it.
I just wrote this real quickly. You don't like it.
Why? I don't understand. Why minimize things that you've done? Like, I don't understand. You don't have to prop it up and say it's Stairway to Heaven.
Because it's not getting a lot of critical acclaim, so he wants to make so. Oh yeah, but I wasn't really trying then. Like, yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's just fucking stupid. But anyways, I never understood the hot look. A 6 foot hot look. Like, who talks like that? Is that a phrase?
It's not. I was going to say it makes no sense. Like, ooh, you got a hot look. I don't get it.
Nice, fast, quick Bob Kulick solo. A 6 foot hot look. All American Man.
And then
I like when the music stops.
Oh.
When the music stops and he says it.
Yep.
And then at the end, again, no music. Paul repeats the chorus at the end. Decent song.
Really?
I'm going to tell you, I have no affinity or affection for any of these songs or nostalgia. I don't remember any of them.
No.
I don't remember them when I was younger. I don't remember when I got back into Kiss. I never really got into these songs.
It's so funny.
I always find people like, All American Man, Larger Than Life. I'm like, huh?
It's funny that you say it because you're right. I love Alive too, and their original tracks. I find it fascinating that people drool over the original tracks off Killers than they do these.
They should.
I don't know. I find that fascinating. Whether they're better or not, but more people talk about the original tracks on Killers than the original tracks on Alive 2. Not me. I love them. Well, not all of them, but I love All American Man. We'll get into the other ones, but you're right. I don't have any affinity or nostalgia for them either, which is weird. They just exist out in the Kiss world. They don't. There's no connection.
All right. Well, maybe it's because there's songs like this. Next.
Rockin' in the USA. What are we doing, Gene? He even says everybody in the band hates it, especially Paul. He thinks it's schlock, just the worst. We go to do our makeup, and often he starts singing it as a kind of, boy, is that lame. We were on tour. I like this. We were on tour, and I'm very patriotic about America. It made everything possible for me, and I always read my own comments, and I come off sounding like one of those hard hat guys. You know, if you don't love America, get the fuck out. Then he starts, it just, first of all, the lyrics to this song, Japan had a lot to eat, or whatever the fuck he's saying. I mean, what are we doing? This is a terrible song. It's so bad.
Written by Gene Simmons, Rockin' the USA. I love how Gene is like, yeah, Paul hates it. He says that Paul is like mocking him. We'll walk by and Jesus, like that's a fucking horrible song. All right, Paul.
Can you imagine the
other
way around? Why don't you
fucking have people walk by and go, I'm just a boy.
Right.
Why don't you have that fucking go through? Yep. Or why don't you have people write or hum as you're walking by, I will be there.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about?
That? Fucking what? He's such a dick.
He is a dick, but the song does suck.
Yeah. Cheesy lyrics. Chorus repeats itself a million times at the end on the outro. Rockin' in the USA.
Why is Gene singing? It's so like bubblegum bouncy pop. It's not a Gene song.
Isn't this a John Cougar Mellencamp song? Did he do this? What was that song he did?
R-O-C-K in the USA. Yeah, exactly.
That song is better than this.
Oh, that's actually a good John Cougar song if you like it. John Mellencamp.
That's how bad it is.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's not good.
All right, let's go to the next Gene track.
Larger Than Life. Always love this one. Simple song. Simple riff. Thundering drums. Gene sounds great. Fucking demon song. Should have made a little bit more headway. I know that these songs are just buried on Alive 2. Gene even says, I like the drums. They were the impetus of going back to that kind of Bonham sound on Creatures of the Night. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think it's a killer track. I think it's just a simple song. The chorus is kind of cool. I like how you can hear Paul's vocals in the backing vocals during the chorus. I've always liked it, probably because it's just, it's a deep cut. It's not a hit. But I think it's cool.
Larger Than Life. Gene played on this one. He played the rhythm guitar as well. Gene says it's his attempt to do a drum Zepp type song.
Yeah, I could see that. It is like, it's almost like when the levee breaks or so, just like a simple pounding drum song with a guitar riff.
And even in that rest of the quote from Behind the Mask, he talks about somebody interviewing him, asking him, well, why does he get girls? Well, I'm larger than life. Like, dude, what the fuck? Anyway, I do think it does have a Zepp type of sound to it.
Yeah.
I like the Gene bass after every verse. Boom,
and I like when he goes, ugh.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I love that.
Is that Van Halen's Panama? Dun, dun,
oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Dun, dun.
Yep.
Oh, God. Now I want to listen. Yeah, see, I'd rather listen to Panama right now than this. But
No.
regardless,
Stop it.
Great Bob solo.
Yep.
And people are always wondering, is that really Peter? I don't know. Kiss Tar's going to come out of the
There is
woodwork.
no way
Dude,
that's
Eddie
Peter.
Kramer and the band fucking don't know. Peter says it's him. Gene swears it's him. At one point, I've read Eddie Kramer's like, I think we had Anton in for a couple songs. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, he says that, right? He says that. He goes, I think Anton played drums on a couple tracks.
Yeah,
He says
I don't know.
Yeah, he says, if my memory serves me correctly, for one track, Peter wasn't available.
Yeah, but Peter says he played on this. So does Gene. The rest of them are adamant about this.
Yeah.
This song, I'm not sure if it's a beloved deep cut more so than All American Man, but this is the song. That in American Man, All American Man are the ones that people gravitate towards when they talk about side two, besides the obvious Ace Rocket Ride.
Right.
Between those two, All American Man and Large in Life, I'm not sure which the fans like more, but people really like Large in Life. And Bruce's and Bob's guitar is kind of legendary.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds amazing. Yep.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Rocket Ride, Ace. So, I mean, you're going to hear a lot of people usually fighting over what their favorite Ace song is. This is usually comes to the top because it's fucking incredible. The riff is off the charts. The solo is fucking insane. Him saying, come on, grab a hold of my rocket. I mean, it's just, the song is incredible. The fact, in my opinion here, the fact that you have 3 tracks sung by 3 separate members of the band buried on side 4 of this album, to me, is one of the great travesties that Kiss did managing their music. I don't know how or why they did this. I understand that they wanted original music to add to the 4th track on this, but these fucking songs right here, just, these should have and could have been on studio albums, because Rocket Ride is just incredible.
Oh, by the way, Larger Than Life was written by Gene. This one is written by Ace Frehley and Sean Delaney.
Yeah.
And this is the part that I wanted to read about it. And this is from Sean Delaney from Behind the Mask. Rocket Ride was written in Japan. I was taken over to Japan for only one reason, and that was to write songs with the guys. They were all having writer's block where all of a sudden you're incapable of writing songs. So for me to go to Japan, that was the stipulation, that I would write songs to them. Ace got mad and went to Bill and said, well, he's over here for all of us, not just Gene and Paul. So it was actually an appointment. There was a time and schedule. I went into his room. Do you have any riffs? He said. And he said, yeah, this one. But I don't think the guys in the band are capable of playing it.
Oh, God, I love that.
Ace had this incredible guitar riff. He was playing the riff for Rocker, and I came up with the lyric and the melody. Now, that's fucking awesome. I will tell you this. I love that fucking riff. This is probably, I can't think of anything else, Ace Frehley's greatest contribution to Kiss.
I would say, so again, for me, it shocked me, but if it's not shocked me, it's Rocket Ride. I agree, which highlights my previous comment that what a travesty that this is buried on side 4 of Alive 2.
It may not be as beloved or legendary, but it's his best song that he's ever done.
Yeah, it's incredible.
The riff, the vocals, everything. It's a great song. It makes fun. Yep. It's cock rock. It went to number 39 in U.S. Billboard. It's a top 40 hit.
Yep.
People don't realize that.
It's awesome.
40 hit from Ace.
Imagine.
He played all the instruments except the drums, which I assume was probably Peter. Great fucking shit. I love. Come on and grab a hold of my rocket, right?
And then the solo just burns it up. It's fucking incredible. I love it.
Nice drums on the outro. Maybe it is fucking Anton on that one. I don't know. I just think this is Ace's greatest contribution to Kiss. The song fucking rocks. Ace was going to save this for his solo album, he said. And he's like, fuck it. I'll just throw it on this one. Wow, his solo album would have been incredible if he took off fucking I'm in Need of Love and had
Ozone.
You hate
fucking Snowblind.
You hate those songs. It's
fucking
They're
terrible.
Bad.
Ozone.
I was getting drunk. Right now. Dude, I have no voice. I can't even do my fake fucking terrible singing. Anyways, last track. Here it is.
The ultimate thud of an album. What are we doing here? I tried listening to this. Just horrendous. Any way you want it. A cover of the Dave Clark 5. And again, Paul just shitting on it, and I'll defend him here because he should. And Behind the Mask, he says, everything that's been done should be left alone. Nobody should remake old films, and nobody should remake old songs, except for when I do Then She Kissed Me on Love Gun. Fucking idiot. You can't do them better than they were initially done. Spontaneous, blah, 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 blah.
Or him when he did Soul Station. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's terrible. And then they actually interviewed Dave Clark for this, and he says, I like Kiss's version of our song. I never looked at the DC-5 as being heavy metal, but I suppose when you listen to that song and a few of the DC-5 songs, they're quite heavy. I don't understand this, and to me, it's right up there with Then She Kissed Me. Just covers of songs from the 50s and 60s. I don't get it. It's terrible, and it doesn't fit, and it's just a huge waste, and I don't get it, and it annoys me.
It's Paul Stanley. That's why. Anything You Want is written by Dave Clark. So Paul does all the guitar, bass, and backing vocals on this. I just put this as Paul written all over it. I like this song. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to give it this version. Nobody make fun of it. Nobody says anything bad. Only I can talk about it, but I want it on this album. Well, me and Gene both love this song. Like, dude, it's fucking terrible. It is stupid.
Yep.
He makes a big thing about, when they did it, it looked like it could explode any moment. But when we did it, we knew what we were kind of doing, so it didn't have that energy of that, rock and roll spontaneity. That, like, dude, shut up. The song sucks. You did a normal version of the song. It ain't gonna get better because you did it.
That's terrible.
Right? I mean, that's what it is. If you're gonna fucking cover Morrissey songs suck. So I don't care if Led Zeppelin is doing Morrissey songs. They suck. So here's the same thing. You're doing Dave Clark fucking songs. Good luck. Have fun with it. Stupid.
It's brutal. It's fucking brutal, man. And it annoys me. Fucking annoys me. Because they can do All American Man. They can do Larger Than Life. They can do those songs. What the fuck are you doing with Rockin' in the USA in Any Way You Want It? Especially Any Way You Want It. Because a fucking cover of a band that none of your fans know exist. It's not like you're covering like a fucking Zeppelin song, right?
And it's not on your
song.
Fucking, what do you call it? Soul Station album. It's a Kiss album. What the fuck you doing?
Right.
But I want to give Peter Criss shit for his solo album.
Right.
Brutal. What about the shit you put on the real Kiss albums?
Yeah.
Then She Kissed Me in this.
Yep. Brutal. I agree. Yep.
So anyway, let's break it down. Overall thoughts on this album, Tom.
I mean, I guess I'll spoil something a little hit. I mean, this is my favorite Kiss album, period. Like, period. Like, I'm going to ruin rankings here. It's my favorite Kiss album, period. If you did that Desert Island game, this would be the one I would take with me because it's got the songs. I mean, yes, I would miss the songs from the first 3 albums, but the band sounds the best they're ever going to sound on a live album. For me, it's better than a live one. There is incredible amounts of nostalgia connected to this with me. The artwork, the cover, the inserts, it's got the complete package, soup to nuts. To me, it is the greatest thing that they've ever put out.
The one statement I will make, musically, popularity, I'm not sure it gets better. Okay, I mean, Double Platinum is a live thing, and that comes out a little bit later. They're at their fucking peak with this.
Peak. Exactly.
Musically,
the top of the world.
Peter's still doing shit. Ace is still, he's a fuck up, but he still comes around. Anyway, yeah, I don't think it gets much better musically than this. Is it better than anything else? We'll get to that when we do into the rankings.
Yep.
What do you want to rank first, Tom? Do you want to do the live album first, or do you want to do these songs, original tracks first?
Let's do the tracks first. Yeah, let's do the tracks.
Number 5.
Definitely any way you want it.
Yeah, same here.
Yep. And then Rockin' in the USA.
Same here.
Yep. And then this gets tricky for me because honestly, it depends on my mood. But for 3, I'm going to put Larger Than Life. They're all can't miss. They're all A pluses for me. I know that's different from you, but I got Larger Than Life at 3.
I'm the opposite, Tom, just because of Bob's guitar.
Okay.
I could go either way with the songs, but I think Bob's guitar makes Larger Than Life better.
Okay.
So I'm going with All American Man at 3.
That's what I figured. Yeah. And then, this might upset some of the Ace cult, but I got Rocket Ride at 2, even though I love it. Even though I love it.
Yeah. Number 2 for me is Larger Than Life.
Yeah. I just love All American Man. I love the simple riff. I love the solo. And I think Paul sounds so fucking confident and cock rockish in that song. I've always been a huge fan of that song.
Number 1 for me, Rocket Ride, Ace's greatest contribution to Kiss.
Yep. Okay. I love it. Yep.
Tom, let's talk about the live portion of this album. Before we rank the live album, give me the 5 cuts that stand out for you.
Okay. Starting at number 5, I'll just quickly go through this because we've already talked about the whole album. So at number 5, I got God of Thunder. Number 4, I got Love Gun. 3, I got Ladies Room. 2, I have Shock Me, and number 1 with a bullet is I Stole Your Love.
Those are your favorite tracks.
Yep.
My list is kind of hurt by the fact that I'm so used to a lot of these tracks now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've been beaten into the ground, so I have those versions in my head. So I'm going to go number 5, Ladies Room.
Okay.
It's a rare version of a song that you don't get to hear much.
Yep.
Number 4, Making Love.
I almost had that on
that song.
Almost had that on my list.
This version on here is fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I've got 3 more, and they're going to be number 3 is Tomorrow and Tonight.
You love that one. Yep, I do.
I love it.
I do too.
And there's no live version of it. Now, is this really live? But they made it sound live.
Yep.
And I like the fact that there's no female backing vocals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Number 4, I'm going to go with this version of God of Thunder because, again, there's not too much of the drum solo and too much of Gene stuff, so the version is a little shorter than normal.
Yep.
It's a sped up version of God of Thunder. Love it.
Yeah, me too. It's amazing.
Yeah. And let's go to number 1. And number 1 for me is King of the Nighttime World.
Oh, yeah.
The live version of it. Don't have many live versions of it at all. At that point, for how many years this was the only live version of it. I think the band is killing it. I know they kick off and start crazy with Detroit Rock City, but King of the Nighttime World lets you know that that's not. We're just starting.
Yep.
We're going to be just as fucking good the rest of the way. And I just love that version. So
Good
all
call.
right. So those are the tracks that kind of stick out for us. Let's go now to live albums. And let's go first to the albums that we have ranked so far. These are the albums we've done so far. And chronologically, not by how we done it, but just when they came out. Kiss Alive 3. You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best. Destroyer box set disc 4. Off the soundboard Tokyo, off the soundboard Virginia Beach, off the soundboard Donington, off the soundboard Des Moines, off the soundboard Poughkeepsie.
Yep.
Tom, what's your rankings for covers first?
Yep. For covers, this is kind of easy because the off the soundboard don't really offer much. So at the bottom for me, I have at number 9 right now, Virginia Beach, then Tokyo, then Donington, then Des Moines, then Alive 3. Then You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best. And then I put Poughkeepsie off the soundboard at 3. And I put Destroyer box set disc 4, Paris 1976. And then at number 1 was Kiss Alive.
Wow. All right. Where are you putting this?
So this is tough. I will say this because the Alive is just iconic. But the picture of Gene, the gatefold, the inserts, the entire thing, it's Alive too. It's Ring the Bell. It's not even close. It's not as close as I made it sound to be. It's just too much. Yeah, it's too. Even the cover itself, just that picture of Gene alone is enough to launch it up to the number 1. Even if I didn't include everything else, which I do when I rank these, I don't just look at the cover. Maybe I'm cheating. I look at the whole package, the gatefold, the inserts, the back cover. The packaging, I guess, is what I look at. So,
all right. So I am going to tell you mine. Mine from 9 to the top. Off the soundboard, Poughkeepsie, Virginia Beach, Tokyo, Donington, Des Moines. Then I got You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best, Kiss Alive 3, Destroyer box set, disc 4, and then Kiss Alive. This is going to be number 2.
nice.
The cover, it's just Kiss Alive too. The pictures are small. I'm not a fan of all of them, although I am a fan of the Gene one, which is amazing.
Yep.
But
okay.
I just, I'm not going
I get it.
Get into, they have tattoos in this packaging. Oh, they have, we get it. We get it.
Yep. I get it.
So, all right. Tom, rank your live albums itself.
All right. At number 9, off the soundboard, Virginia Beach. Off the soundboard, Tokyo. You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best. Destroyer box set disc 4, Paris 1976. Off the soundboard, Poughkeepsie. Off the soundboard, Donington. And then this is where the beatings began. Kiss Alive 3. And then an album that we've heard before, similarly, is off the soundboard, Des Moines 1977. Yeah, it's the no-brainer in the world. It's number 1. Yeah. And I will say this, I fucking love Des Moines 1977. I know a lot of people like, what the hell, we have Alive 2? Des Moines 1977 may sound better than Alive 2 because it's a straight shot live concert. It's not stitched together like Alive 2 is. So as much as I love Alive 2 and everything it encompasses in terms of nostalgia and music, the sound alone on Des Moines 77 is fucking insane. It's insane, that album.
The other aspect of it is this is the band playing those original tracks from the first Alive, but in 1977.
Exactly.
So it's a different version of those type of songs.
Yep. Agreed. Yep.
Anyway, mine going from 9 to number 1. Soundboard Virginia Beach, soundboard Tokyo. You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best. Soundboard Donington, Destroyer box set disc 4. 4 is Poughkeepsie. 3 is Alive 3. 2 is Des Moines 77. 1 is Alive. You will not be ringing the bell. This is number 2 for me. I like Alive better.
Oh, I do.
I know that if that's the competition, who you like, Alive or Alive 2.
Yep.
I like Alive 2 songs better. But I like Alive as an album better.
Yeah, I get it. And I would never. That's one argument. That's one kiss-tard argument I would never get into, because how can you fight someone over alive? You know what I mean? It's that good.
Yeah, and I think it defines you. Now, I am a Live 2 era type person. I'm not an Alive 1, but over time, I realized the brilliance of it, and that's why I gravitate to that. So, wow. Anyway, Tom, we did a lot here, so let's move on and let's go to question of the week.
All right, so our question of the week is actually coming kind of from me and our friend and Pantheon podcast host. He's been on the show a few times, Martin Popoff. So he has a great podcast called History in 5 Songs, and he did an episode recently titled Where Do I Start? Now, we may have touched on this topic before, but again, we've been doing this for a while. We have some new fans, some new listeners, so I wanted to kind of bring it up here. So he did the topic was where do I start? And he broke it down into categories of, if you are interested in a band, where should you start? And some of the arguments were, well, start with their greatest hits album, start with their latest album, start with their first album, start with the album that's the most popular. So I'll ask you, Zeus, if somebody said to you and said, you have a Kiss podcast, I don't really know anything about them, where do I start?
Maybe double platinum.
Okay.
However, maybe Alive.
Okay.
But let's say I won't cheat. Let's go to studio album.
Yep.
It's funny because I'm thinking like I'm going to give you my 2 favorite albums, Destroyer and then Lick It Up. But maybe Lick It Up is too heavy metal for somebody. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Whereas Detroit Rock City.
Exactly.
And songs like that on Destroyer are very accessible, like classic rock.
Yep.
I would probably go with Destroyer to be safe.
Okay.
That's where I would probably go, but I would consider giving them Lick It Up.
Okay. So Lick It Up was definitely on my list. Now I would not do Destroyer only because of kind of like things like Great Expectations and maybe Beth, and maybe they'd be like, what, this is, for me, I would probably go, and this is not my favorite album, although I love it. I might go with Rock and Roll Over. Just because,
I was thinking that too, maybe.
Because the production is raw, there's no real ballads, there's nothing really experimental or crazy or kind of off kilter. It's just balls to the wall rock. I mean, I know you have Hard Luck Woman, but you know you got Calling Dr. Love and Ladies Room and Naked Love, and even you got Baby Driver. So I just think that's the rawest. I think that's the most Kiss-ish album, even though it's not my favorite. But Lick It Up did pop into my head, and for a compilation, I would probably say double platinum too. But again, that's kind of cheating using a live album or a compilation.
Exactly.
But it was a great question. It was a great episode. It was a really fun episode. And again, Martin Popoff's fucking awesome. Anyways, and again, he's a friend of the show and a Pantheon podcast friend as well. So check that out if you haven't. There's a free plug for Martin. So good stuff.
Tom, where can people find us?
Always go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. That's you can find everything regarding the show, everything with Shout It Out Loudcast, album review crew, Zeppelin Chronicles, Dome Damage, everything there. All of our rankings, so much to do there. Links to our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads. Links to our book, Raise Your Glasses, right on the main landing page. A link right there to buy our amazing Kiss book. You can buy that, and you can buy it at Amazon as well. Links to our Amazon shopping page. Links to our merch for Shout It Out Loudcast. You can get merch. Tons of great stuff there. And you can send us messages directly through the website. And if you do that, we get them in the form of an email. Or you can send us an email as well, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. I know I kind of cheated this week with our question of the week, but we do one every week. So if you want to be part of the show and have your question read, please send us an email. And of course, we always like to say that we're a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast network of shows.
Yeah, people can always DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, motherfucker. Check out our Spotify playlist, but you have to go to our profile, not the podcast part, and then you'll see the different songs that we have up there listed for different types of episodes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
You do.
And give us one of those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can give us one of those. And make sure you go to Amazon. And thank you, everybody that bought Raise Your Glasses for the holidays.
Yes.
It shot up again, doing very well.
Love it.
But give us one of those 5-star reviews. That moves Amazon, the book, up into further and further on the charts and gets in front of more eyes and more purchases. And we appreciate that. So make sure you purchase it, or you go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com, shoutitoutloudcast.com to get it. Tom, we always end on famous last words. This is season 7. What do you got?
Mama told me, your lady's looking for another man. I never worry. There ain't a need for me to take no stand. I got my reasons. The things I do are better left unsaid. I'm into pleasing. I do my talking with my hands instead. Ooh, hot look.
What the fuck is a hot look? Germany was really neat. Japan had lots to eat. And Denmark was great, but I just can't wait. Rocking in the USA. R-O-C-K in the USA.
Just fucking brutal.
Oh, God.
That's just fucking brutal.
Those fucking lyrics were like, you're in the car. Hey, we're going to arrive in 5 minutes. Do you have any lyrics for the song? We're going to be there in 2 minutes. Just shut up. I got something.
Japan had much to eat.
Denmark was great.
What the fuck, dude? It's like a 4th grade poetry class. Like, what are you doing?
We are on season 7. Loudcasters, Kiss Army, Tom, everybody out there. Thank you for making us the #1 Kiss podcast continuously for many years now. And we hope to be in the future for many years. Thanks to all of you that are listening. We love you, appreciate you, and thank you.
Guys, you're the best. Thank you for everything. Incredible that we're starting a new year, a new season of Shout It Out Loudcast. And who knows what this year will bring us, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome, and we're so happy to have you along for the ride. So thank you for that. And Zeus, as always, my friend, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Hit the music. What I'd like now is for all you fat, out-of-shape, worldwide kiss-tards to keep the noise down while I show your ladies what a real sexy man looks like.
Listen, all you people out there sitting on rented furniture, settle down.
Cut the music. Anybody seen Richie? Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?